Hello and welcome to Meghalaya Legislative Assembly channel. I'm Garen, your host for this video. As we know that dates for elections have been announced, so we want to share with our viewers about the different political parties and platforms that are fielding their candidates for this election. To know more about Come Meghalaya, today we have with us Ma'am Angela Rangat. Although Ma'am doesn't need any introduction, Ma'am this time she will be contesting for this election from South Shillong constituency. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Ma'am, my first question for you is, what does Come Meghalaya stand for and what is Come Meghalaya's ideology?
So Come Meghalaya, many people feel that KAM is an abbreviation, but it's not. Come, as you know, calm or come, it's a word which is work. And that's the name, Come Meghalaya. And why we've called it Come? Because it is time for us to roll up our sleeves and work. And it's also time for the workers to unite, for people, hardworking, young people, people who are doing all sorts of jobs, people who labor, to come together to reclaim the state. So when you ask us what is our ideology, Come is a political platform that has emerged from various diverse social movements and campaigns. For many years, many of us, the three candidates included, have been struggling alongside people on various issues, be it gender justice, workers' rights, environmental justice, and also fighting against communalism and fundamentalism, and also anti-corruption and the criminalization of the political sphere. So that's how Come emerged. And we are fired by our experience in social justice movements of many years. And for us, as an electoral political platform, in many ways, what we do and what we are going to do is a continuation of our fight to ensure a just and equitable Meghalaya.
Ma'am, to add to that, what is the vision of Come Meghalaya, for the state?
So as you know, Meghalaya is entering its 51st year of statehood. And when we retrospectively look at what have we done in these past 50 years, it's alarming, but there's nothing to show for the 50 years of statehood. So when you say, what is your vision for Meghalaya? I think for us in Come Meghalaya, the most important thing is that we have to ensure a more equitable society in Meghalaya. We have to ensure justice for the many, because in these 50 years, there has been so much corruption, there has been so much abuse of power, and the scales have tilted. The rich have gotten richer while the poor are struggling. And so we have to be able to bridge the gap of poverty, to bridge the gap even in terms of, like, Meghalaya is today seeing so much unrest at that level, okay? So when we say bridging the gap, it's about equality, but it's also about rebuilding and understanding among communities. And so that is our vision in short. But if you want in details, for instance, if you're talking about an economic imagination, what do we imagine for a small state like Meghalaya? Now, first and foremost, we have to understand that we have to push for an economy of sufficiency, which means that there has to be enough for everyone, and we have to fight for the greater common good. We cannot have an economy of greed, which is what has been happening in our state for the past 50 years.
Ma'am, what is Come Meghalaya? Has Come Meghalaya released its manifesto, and what are the main highlights of your manifesto, ma'am?
So Come Meghalaya will be releasing our manifesto very soon, and it is not our manifesto. I say this because when we were campaigning, in every household we went to, we also gave that household a survey form where we tried to get an understanding from them. What are the issues that we need to raise? What are the issues that we need to put into our manifesto? So what we are going to release is actually a people's manifesto. And as of now, some of the issues that have come up, which people in these three constituencies have talked about. One major requirement, all of them, 95%, we have analyzed the survey forms, 95% have said that they want legislators who make laws and policies. They want an honest MLA, and they want somebody to stand up against corruption. So these three things I'm sure we can fulfill. And the issues that have been highlighted, the issues of civic infrastructure, of roads, drains, street lights, but also of health, of education, and also, the big issue about jobs. That young people are really frustrated that they don't have jobs, they don't have a good chance, again because of nepotism, of corruption. And we have a government that is not even trying to open the way through laws and policies to attract more investment. In fact, it is a shame that the recent study showed that the uptake, for instance, we keep talking about no jobs, no work. But the NREGA program, which is a national program, the state of Meghalaya has failed even in this. A recent finding found that just 56% of uptake for the NREGA, which means what? We are losing the wages that are coming from the central government. We are losing out on asset creation. So these are some of the things which will feature in our manifesto, along with our fight against drugs, crimes, and to ensure that there's safety and security for every citizen in Meghalaya.
Ma'am, you mentioned that Come Meghalaya is a collective. So going forward, ma'am, what is Come Meghalaya's roadmap for the platform? Does it want to be recognized as a party? Will you continue on your journey with politics? Will Come Meghalaya as a platform become a party? Ma'am, what is their roadmap?
So for us, we always take an opportunity like this to explain what the word politics means. Politics for us is about power. It is about struggling to ensure that there is an equal distribution of power so that there's no particular group or people who have more power and thereby, abusing or taking advantage of those who don't have power. So politics is about power. And what we have been doing as social activists, what we have been doing on the ground is politics. Okay, it's a people's politics. And right now, when it comes to elections, it is again about power, but it is obviously within a certain democratic framework of elections. And as I said, for us at that level, we will continue with our politics, which is a people's politics, and a politics that is against hate, against inequality, and against an abuse of power. So when you ask what is the roadmap for Come Meghalaya, as of now, it is a political platform where we're fielding 3 candidates from 3 key constituencies in Shillong. We had hoped to also field candidates from other districts. But as you know, for us, this is a people's campaign. It is being funded by people. We are crowdfunding this campaign. And from the very beginning, we have maintained transparency and accountability. We have shared with the people our finances. And given that it is people funded, it was not possible to field more candidates this time around. But we hope that in 5 years' time, Come will be a political force to reckon with.
Ma'am, as you mentioned that there are 3 candidates that will be a part of Come for this election. Ma'am, 3 candidates and constituencies in Meghalaya, we have 60. So for this election, ma'am, what is your goal? What are the goals of the candidates for this election?
Come Meghalaya is fielding 3 candidates, and 3 of us are independent candidates because it's still a political platform, not a party yet. So 3 independent candidates from Come Meghalaya platform. And when you ask me what you hope to do as independent candidates, I think it's a very important question because many people doubt us. They think that independent candidates will jump here and there and everywhere and be bought. But if we were to be bought, we would have been bought long ago because for all 3 of us, many political parties, both national and regional, were trying to get us to contest as their candidates. And we flatly refused for the reason that we are here to do elections because we really want to bring meaningful change in Meghalaya politics. And none of the dispensations, none of the political parties have upheld our rights. None of them have stood up against corruption, and we cannot be part of these parties. So as independents, we believe that we will be better placed to uphold the rights of people and to speak truth and justice. And we have to remember also that in the history of Meghalaya politics, independent candidates have played a very, very important role. And many major legislations have been passed, have been mooted by independent candidates. I want to remind here of late Martin Narayan Majau, who pushed the Land Transfer Act. He was an independent candidate. We remember Mr. Ardhendu Chaudhary, who actually moved a private member's bill for the right to information in Meghalaya long ago. There was independent candidates like Babul Lingdo also. And so much they could do as independents. And when we win as independents, many people think that we may just join some dispensation. But let me assure you that we are here for the people, and we will not support just any government, especially not a government that spouts hate and that perpetuates a politics of hate. And if at all they require our support for government formation, it will be based on what people say, number one, people of our constituencies. And most importantly, it has to be based on conditions. We have already thought of some of the legislations that we need in Meghalaya. We've already drafted some of these. So whichever government requires our support has to assure us that certain laws which are for the people, as for example, a law on the right to health, has to be passed. Then only we can talk about supporting any formation. And also we need to remember, because in Meghalaya governance, it has always been that people hop parties because they say we want to be in the ruling all the time. We need more power. And yet, with whatever power they have, they do nothing. So now, for us in Come Meghalaya, it is not so important that we will be in ruling government, Having a very strong opposition is also very, very important. And so we'll be happy to be the voice of the people, to flag issues, to question, and to defend people's rights.
Ma'am, my last question is, there has been a lot of talk that there is a lot of money power in politics. Ma'am, you've been a political activist for a long time. You've seen many elections. What do you think? Do you think that there is money power? What is your observation in this issue?
So money and muscle power is what all the parties are, engaging in. They're trying to buy votes. They're trying to entice voters with false promises of income support. There are also some candidates who outrightly try to threaten voters, and this is a reality. But I think that not everybody can be bought and not everybody is frightened. And so this time around, Come Meghalaya is posing a serious and a very, very different alternative. People have a real choice this time. And so in the 3 constituencies, at least, I can say that we will be able to challenge both money and muscle power by our ideas, but most of all by our commitment. People know that we have been committed for years on social justice issues, and we know that people will choose wisely.
That's all for today, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us.